Hi everyone, this is DeFi Dad, and this is another Bankless tutorial. So today I'm going to show you how to gain exposure to one of the more popular products from the yearn.finance protocol. It's now referred to as yUSD. It relates to placing stablecoins in the Curve Y pool. So normally one would go to curve.fi/iron/deposit, and you can deposit any one of these four stable coins. And then by doing that, you are earning market making fees or trading fees, and you're also earning lending interest. So this has been a really popular DeFi product that I've covered. But aside from that, Yearn then released what are called vaults. Vaults are for automating yield. So many of the more sophisticated strategies for yield farming require lots of transactions and time and expertise. And so what they've done here is they've enabled on yearn.finance/vaults the ability to take tokens like ETH, or to take the token that you receive from this Curve Y pool. When I deposit into it, I receive a liquidity provider token, an LP token. And so this is where I could come then and I can deposit that. And currently the estimated APY for the year is about 20.44%. And so it means that I'm earning multiple forms of yield now. I'm earning lending interest here. I'm earning market making fees, which you can see is below here. The 0.04% is the fee that you want to pay attention to. But then I'm also having my liquidity used to continually earn the Curve governance token, which has a selling price because it's bought and sold on dexes. And so what this is automating is earning that and then selling that for profit. And so the outcome of that is about 20.44% at this moment. And if you go to this page, there is a new feature. You can click here to take a look at what is the estimated growth of the vault's performance for the past 3 days, 1 week, 1 month inception. This is really important to check out because the estimated growth, or APY, is changing day to day according to how much liquidity there is and according to lots of other factors like prices of tokens of the Curve governance token. So I like to just look at something like 1 week or 3 days because it gives me a sense of how is this all performing over the last few days. So you can see that if I look at the Curve YLP, so again, I would have originally gone here to Curve and deposited stable coins. Then I might have come here to yearn.finance, and I would have seen that it would earn me about 14.62%. Now, that is different than if I go back to this and I choose 1 week. Over the past week, the performance had actually been higher previously. And then if I go back to the averaged performance over the last month, it was even much higher. Part of the reason that it was higher is that the market has drawn down, and part of the higher yield was due to the higher price of the Curve governance token. So that was being sold at a higher price, hence one would earn higher returns. Now that the price is lower, and generally the entire crypto market has had a drawdown over the last few weeks, that's why I like to look at 1 week or 3 days, and I can see now that, okay, it's lower. I mean, it's still, compared to traditional legacy markets or a bank savings account, it's much higher, but good to be aware of that because this is a big difference from the 50%. So one of the breakthroughs that happened over the last month after the yVaults were released by Yearn is the team at Zapper. This is before I joined the team. They were clever to create Zaps for all 8 of these different vaults. And so it means that I could go into the Y curve vault, the one that we've been talking through here, and I could then add liquidity using something like Ether or one of the 4 stable coins. So, I could be adding DAI here, and if I were to put in 100 DAI, I can zap that into that yVault, and it will cost me 2 transactions. First, there's an approval transaction to give permission to spend my DAI. That's the one that's always cheaper. That's the first transaction. And then the second one is to actually deposit. Now, this has been a very popular Zap for us. I'm not going to cover this today because there's actually a way to save even more money now on gas if you go to the new DEX aggregator that we offer. So under the exchange, this is a DEX aggregator, as in it sources the best trades with the least amount of slippage. So best trading rate with the least amount of slippage from Balancer and Uniswap. And so I can go here and say, I'm gonna start with DAI, and I wanna trade into yUSD. And then let's pretend I'm gonna put in 100. Here's what I would get out of that. The reason that I end up with less yUSD is that it is a more valuable token. In fact, if we go to Uniswap and we check out the page for the yUSD token, it's currently about $1.15. That's because it has lending interest, it has market making fees, and it has automated yield through the yVault. So this is, again, this is if I've provided my stable coins to the Curve Y pool, I can then take that LP token and have that liquidity used for additional automated earning strategies. And that's all powered by yearn.finance protocol. That's why yearn is so popular. It makes yield farming 1 or 2 clicks, and that's really powerful. What we try to do at Zapper is similarly automate and simplify the ability to gain exposure. And so I'm going to show you how much it costs for me to trade from DAI to yUSD. Because if we were to go to Curve, if I were just going to deposit, let's say, let's go and go to the deposit tab here, and we'll pretend that I'm going to put in 100 DAI. If I were to click deposit, this will give me an estimate here. It's going to cost me about $71. That's just for me to become a liquidity provider in the Curve Y pool. That's before I've even gone to yearn, or in the case of using a Zap, that's before Zapper takes me through a transaction to zap myself into this pool. So $71 is the benchmark we're measuring off of. And we're going to see if we can save money by using our new DEX aggregator. And what this is doing is we're sourcing from Uniswap. So in this example, I'm putting in DAI. It goes from DAI to ETH, and then from ETH to yUSD. The first thing I'm going to do is approve spending my DAI. So we'll go ahead and click approve. And then let's go ahead and change the gas. And so I've looked up on the Etherscan gas tracker that it is about 258 gwei to get the transaction through in about 2 minutes. So I'm going to increase this to 258. This is a classic example of why you check the Etherscan gas tracker or ethgasstation.info. MetaMask does not always estimate the accurate gas price. My transaction could have gotten stuck if I didn't do this. So I'm going to hit save. And then I'm going to give permission in this case. Instead of unlimited, I want to just put in a custom spend limit of 100. This is something that you'll see, especially when you use Uniswap, and I believe Balancer does the same thing, but I prefer a custom spend limit just to ensure that no one can ever drain my wallet of all of the DAI that's there. So we're ready to go. Let's hit confirm. It's very important that I wait for this transaction to push through. So it just succeeded, and now it will be safe then for me to continue exchanging or to do the swap. If I were to click this, or if I were to try to swap it beforehand, I'm taking a risk because I'm putting in a second transaction that's queued up, and these gas prices can change. These fluctuate constantly. So, it's always essentially an auction that's happening in terms of the gas price. And the higher I bid, the more likely my transaction is to go through. So if I'm waiting on transaction one to go through here, why would I put through transaction two when there's a chance that it could get stuck, or maybe my gas price wasn't high enough? I want to reflect the gas prices that are the most updated. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh this because I'm about to do this final transaction, and I can see that to put it through in 2 minutes, it's still about 258 Gwei. So I go back to Zapper. I can click exchange. Now, so far, we've paid about $2 to $3 in gas for that approval transaction. And then this is going to be a maximum of, let's go ahead and put in 258. But at 258, it's going to be a maximum of $36 of Ether. Now, I recognize that is a larger percentage of 100 DAI. This is definitely a smaller position than I would normally consider zapping in. So just be aware, gas prices are still high. That is a reflection of challenges with the Ethereum network being so in demand. And so it makes sense for me to consider, how large is my position? What am I going to earn from this? And is this worth it? For the sake of a demonstration, though, I'm going to go ahead and do this, even though this would be 36% of my total here. If I were to up this to 1,000, I'd still be paying $36, which makes a hell of a lot more sense, because now I've got a larger position to earn a higher return and easily overcome that cost. So let's go ahead and click confirm. Okay, so the transaction has succeeded. So in the invest tab is where I normally track my current investments. So these are investments like being a liquidity provider or being in one of the yearn yVaults. The Y curve vault by yearn is showing $100.98, and that is the 87.256 yUSD. If I ever wanted to withdraw from this, I can just click withdraw and I can go that route. But for right now, I want to remain here earning 3 forms of yield, which is the lending interest, market making fees, and then the additional yield farming earnings from the yearn yVault. Let's recount how much I paid in gas. So this is the original DAI approval. So this is giving permission for Zapper DEX aggregator to spend my DAI. And that was $3.83 of Ether as a fee. Then the second transaction, the one we just did, where I zapped 100 DAI into wrapped Ether. This is all happening through the order being routed through Uniswap, and then it eventually gives me the yUSD token. So that is a total of $20. So I spent about $23, even though if I had gone the route of Curve and deposited the old-fashioned way, the way we used to do it just a few months back, it would have cost me $71 just to get into the Y pool. That's before I've even deposited into Yearn, the yVault. And that would have probably cost me, I mean, I think like conservatively, another approval transaction plus depositing. I mean, it's got to be at least $20 of Ether. And consider the fact too that gas prices are very high today. Again, they're around 285 Gwei. So today I only spent about $23, $24 in gas. So you want to check this out because this is the most cost-effective way to go from DAI or one of the other stable coins that are in the Y pool, which is DAI, USDC, Tether, and True USD. Any one of those, you can get into yUSD for significantly less. All right, so let's recap the risks. With any DeFi application, just like with the smart contracts that enable me to use this DEX aggregator by our team at Zapper, there's always smart contract risk. So, just be aware that I wouldn't be zapping, or in this case, I guess, swapping my life savings through this. This is a newer product by our team, and I would urge folks to be cautious in terms of what you swap. Second, liquidity is limited. This is a pool in Uniswap. It has 9.2 million in liquidity. That's not a lot. That is nothing compared to the liquidity in the DAI Ether pool. That's, I think, close to 300 million. So this is something that I will put into the show notes. Please check this out before you ever make a trade into yUSD. It's worth going here to double check, how liquid is this? And so I think hopefully someone who's looking to trade 100,000 would be knowledgeable of this. But if I was going to swap 100,000 DAI, a larger amount, I would take a look at this first to see what the liquidity is in case someone has withdrawn a lot of their liquidity from this pool. Another thing to be aware of related to that liquidity risk is thinking about the slippage. So the way that I protect myself here is I go up to the little widget icon and I set my slippage at 1%. So the platform here will actually prevent you from executing the transaction if there's a forecasted slippage of greater than 1%, or I could put in, 2%, or I could, if I wanted to up it, I could put it up to 5%. But my hope when I use a tool like this and I'm trading from DAI to yUSD, I like to limit my slippage to 1%. The next risk to consider is the usual exposure to stable coins. By holding yUSD, I am exposed to 4 different stable coins, any of which could depeg for a number of reasons, but it's a risk that I always live with when I hold stable coins. Another risk I didn't call out in terms of smart contract is just the fact that we're stacking multiple platforms here. So by holding yUSD, I'm exposed to Curve smart contracts. I'm exposed to yearn.finance smart contracts. And I'm also exposed to Uniswap. When I go to do this swap through Zapper, for a moment, I'm exposed to smart contracts enabling me through Zapper, but then I'm also exposed to risk in using Uniswap. So lots and lots of money Legos at work here. That is the nature of DeFi, but I think it's worth noting that there is this risk, and it's good to be aware of that versus being blind to all the different tools that you're using. So that's all I've got for you today. If you want to try this out yourself, go to zapper.fi/exchange, and this is where the new DEX aggregator can be found. Also, if you've never done this, go to zapper.fi/dashboard. This is where you can connect to your Ethereum wallet or multiple Ethereum wallets, and you can track all of your assets. You can track your liquidity pools. You can track yield farming opportunities, any sort of liabilities, like if I have like an Aave loan or a maker loan, and then you can track them by platform. So this is a tool that I think everyone has used in DeFi, and this is part of the reason I joined the team at Zapper. And then what's really convenient is using Zaps. So Zaps allow you to, you'll notice here, I have a little bit of money in the Balancer USDC MUSD pool. I can add liquidity. I can withdraw it. I can also rebalance it to another Uniswap pool. So I can go between Balancer and USDC in a few clicks. I'm sorry, Balancer and Uniswap in a few clicks. And then below is a list of all the different Zaps that are available. So for example, if we look at these 4 pools, these are all the pools that are being used to earn Uni in Uniswap. And so the little tractor here indicates that after I add liquidity, I also can then stake it to start earning Uni. So it's all in one place conveniently, so you don't have to navigate Uniswap or know which applications to hop into. Always look for that little tractor. It means that you can stake and you can also claim rewards all within Zapper. If you have any questions, you can comment in the Bankless Discord, but I'd also encourage you to join the Zapper Discord. I'll link that in the show notes. There's lots of folks there where we're all talking about DeFi constantly, and obviously as the team, we're trying to help folks navigate all of this and understand how to use these different tools.